in a PvP, that can be totally, like, the good thing to do, right? Proxy a pylon, go for stalker attacks. It's not something that's a little memey like the build we just saw versus Zerg. I say memey, but it's totally legit, but you know what I mean, right? Like, there are things that we consider gentlemanly despite their cheesiness, and things we do not. And that was not what a gentleman does. Good sir. Good day. No one's gonna like HellraiseR if he beats MaNa with a cheese, alright? Nah, I'm just kidding. It's not about being nice. It's about winning the flipping qualifier. And if MaNa falls to him, well, then that's game. That's how it happens. That's life, guys. StarCraft is really just an analogy for life. In the top left, there's the red Protoss. It is Liquid MaNa. In the bottom right, as the blue Protoss, it is HellraiseR. For Team Wolven, I guess? I mean, I see some other players with that, so I don't know if it's a clan or a team or what. Alrighty then, we have both of them going for double gateways, so nothing like what BCQD was showing us earlier today. MaNa's PvP can be pretty good. I mean, MaNa maybe goes flies under the radar 80% of the time. And he's, you know, people still are big fans of him. He still does a rather popular stream, and he's had a couple of really decent results, right? You know, most popular being his Austin run, where it was seemingly magical. But yeah, otherwise, he kind of runs under the radar. In terms of Team Liquid, there's more high-profile players. You know, everyone used to cheer for Snoot because he would get rather far. And then you had Euthermal, who, just by default being one of the best European Terrans of the race, kind of maybe got ahead. And MaNa had the likes of Showtime, Hearthstone, Drogo to kind of face off with there. And as far as race goes, so it can be hard to like remember how good he can be. Yes, you remember Austin and how good he was overall in Austin, and that was fantastic, but even around, you know, every other tournament he does around Austin, before and after, his highlights really included his micro. He would, like, seemingly go Super Saiyan when times were the most desperate, which I guess is exactly when you go Super Saiyan, isn't it? So it makes the most sense when I say it about MaNa. You know, he'd be literally limping along here on one gateway with all 4 Nexus dead, and he'd be like, no, this is the time that I'm going to be the absolute best with this War Prism, and we're going to try and convince the casters I can bring this back. That's what he would do. So his micro is quite on point, and that's very important in this matchup. Not that it's not important in any other matchup, but when it's Protoss versus Protoss, we're talking about big, expensive, important units, no matter what you build. There's no little, oh, who cares if I lose a Ling in this matchup and for these races, right? For this race plural. You know what I mean. These two Protoss. Let's say Phoenix is even important, all right? As we are in the new and improved PvP that might include a lot of Stargate openers. But while MaNa's doing a Stargate opener, and is checking to make sure that HellraiseR is not going for Phoenix, and it's going to ruin his day here, he's going to continue with that Oracle. HellraiseR is not going for a Stargate. We have a Forge on the way and a Proxy Pylon to go ahead and warp in some Stalkers. It's slow, but it still is basically guaranteed to be just slightly more than what the defending player has, whether it's by 1 or 2 units or by a surprise factor, you know, kind of remains to be seen. But the surprise factor is important, and MaNa, I thought, just saw those Stalkers, but was he paying attention? It looks like he wasn't. Otherwise, he would have brought these Stalkers back after scouting what it was. So, unfortunately, not able to even try to micro, just simply surprised right off the bat, loses 3 Stalkers immediately, and now these Stalkers of HellraiseR are simply too strong. There's too many of them. There's not much that MaNa can do, even with a Pro Pool. A cannon, of all things, is finished up here. That's what the Forge was so quick about, I guess. As +1 is on the way, but it won't be effective for some time. So HellraiseR, with a very strong start, defends against the Oracle. The Oracle could still make sure there's no probes being built on the natural, but that's about it. Oracle over here goes for the kill on the Sentry. Doesn't find it, would rather live, so it cancels its Pulsar Beam. Nexus goes down. And MaNa is in a tight spot. He's still up 6 workers, though, and with 2 oracles, I mean, it's not the case of a shield battery anymore. There's a cannon that could kill one of the oracles, but it might be worth sacking 1 oracle to kill. If HellraiseR doesn't pull away, it could be up to, like, 12 probe kills. Like, it could be some serious damage. Thank you, No Mac, for the 48-month resub. I thought I lost my sub streak. Phew. Yeah, phew. Thank you very much, man. So +1 is almost done, and we're going into Blink versus Blink territory. I'm a little surprised that MaNa ended up going for Blink, but he already had that Twilight Council on the way. And this early on, I guess I wasn't expecting charge this early, so okay, all right. But that means that while his economy might still be fine and the number of units might still be very similar, the quality of units that are basically the same, right? We're going to have stalkers versus stalkers, is going to be better for HellraiseR with that +1. So a very strong follow-up, I feel. Not that what MaNa's doing is necessarily wrong, I would guess, but you know, if he was going for charge lots, that at least changes the dynamic. Right? As this is literally like you have maybe more units, but you also have stronger units. +2 already on the way for HellraiseR. Very quick about that, so he's going to have a substantial lead in upgrades. He is going to have +2 stalkers versus 0 stalkers of MaNa. MaNa needs to do more with these oracles, and the time to do that is actually passing. So even though they always have the potential to kill 8 probes, it's a big difference if they kill 8 probes now versus if they kill 8 probes at 9 minutes, right? At 9 minutes, HellraiseR's already benefited so much from a worker lead and being able to put that already in his army and his upgrades, and we'll just kind of shrug off 8 workers. So time is running out, and it seems like MaNa's looking for the opening. He's not really finding anything. He's at least keeping tabs on when the 3rd base comes down, if it comes down. A lot of time, by the time we have +2 attack, we do see a 3rd base, but there have certainly been PvP metas where it shifted one way or the other, styles of certain players one way or the other, how fast they get their upgrades. Charge is on the way, and a 3rd Nexus is on the way as well, so we are going more into what we would expect, with still potential of a +2 timing attack. HellraiseR is moving forward with the Stalkers, not to do a timing attack, but just because there's really no reason not to. Even if your opponent has Blink, you could blink away, and hopefully, if you do it fast enough, you won't get blinked upon. Blink, 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 blink. Gotta get out of my system. HellraiseR was missing the scouting information that MaNa had, and sometimes that is absolutely crucial. You know, maybe MaNa could have snuck in a much faster 3rd Nexus that HellraiseR wasn't seeing. He was waiting, trying to get his upgrades, trying to get his probe count back up, something like that. And that almost happened. You know, that could have happened, I guess. It looks like Phoenix was the first scout in a while for HellraiseR, but it didn't. What he saw was a very large stalker army. So while HellraiseR invests into all these really important structures, tech, economy for PvP, MaNa's gonna go for a 2-base all-in. Now, you kind of look up, like maybe he was setting up for a 3rd Nexus. He was trying to fake out HellraiseR, but I'm not sure that HellraiseR fell for it. Maybe he did. This position is getting a little awkward. He's kind of split here. We do have 22 Stalkers versus just the 14 of HellraiseR, so +2 probably doesn't make up for that big of a difference. HellraiseR does not have any shield batteries to help out, just a simple cannon. The Archon that he made is in the back line, not helping out right now. In fact, not even trying to help out, as all of his units are on hold position to make sure that his Blink Micro is the best that it can be. And he doesn't get sucked into the stasis trap either. So he has to sacrifice a single Stalker to do so, but that was still a nice move by MaNa to utilize the Oracles. Otherwise, they're not helping out very much, and I think that MaNa is going to win with this all in. It looks like HellraiseR didn't actually... I mean, either he didn't realize this was the case when he saw how many Stalkers there were, or he didn't take it seriously enough. He was not quite ready to go. He didn't have any Immortals either, despite having a Robo for some time. And he has simply been overrun. He had such better upgrades. It's insane that there was +2 versus almost not even +1, all right? But it didn't matter when he was down, what, total 8 Stalkers, and also a bit surprised, too, so his sentries couldn't help him out, as they were picked off almost immediately. The Warpism comes forward to try and be a hero, and oh my god, is this actually going to be a hold? Oh my god, is it a hold? Okay, no, maybe, no. Okay, okay, this charge is done, so these Zealots aren't just there for soaking up damage. The Immortal might have died too, but it already chunked away at a few extra Stalkers. The Warprints are slow from MaNa. Things are not over yet, as HellraiseR Lordy, I thought he was done for, but he's warping in continuously. He still has his strong economy, so he can do that off of whatever gateways he has. He can even afford to go for another Immortal soon here. But I thought that was over. It's not. It's MaNa who's going to lose this. This Stasis Trap only catches 2 Zealots, which will still get a couple of charges off anyways. Archons are going to form behind the aggressive stance of HellraiseR with 4 High Templars. There we go. And this time they will be included in the army. MaNa was so close to doing it, but now he's going to just try and take a macro game from here as he takes out probes at the 3rd base. I don't think he can get the 3rd Nexus. He doesn't think so either, so he's not even trying to focus fire it down. If he had done that earlier, when I was saying MaNa, maybe, you know, when I was saying MaNa is 1, called it way too early. If he had pulled back then and gone for the 3rd Nexus, he probably gets a snipe there. But I still don't know if he wins the game, of course. Like, HellraiseR has a lot of other stuff going on for him right now. He still has that +2 upgrade. He still has the charge lots and the ability to make Archons. MaNa still dies, but he might have gotten the 3rd Nexus. As it is, he is just going to defend against a very superior army, with the only upside being... Nope, just kidding. That's a Warp Prism. I thought that was a pylon for slow warp-ins. There's no upside. MaNa is dead. He was so close to doing it, too. And imagine if those Stasis Traps hadn't been microed against. Imagine if they had caught a couple of the Archons, maybe 4 or 5 Stalkers. GG. HellraiseR with the hold. Very nicely done. That all was definitely a snowball off the back of what was a surprise attack. If MaNa had gotten wind of the pylon in the very beginning of that game, things are very different. He's held up more into his natural. He has a sentry to help him out. He has probes to pull. Yeah, maybe even was starting a shield battery, right? That loss of his Nexus really spiraled out of control. But damn, if he didn't make it close. At the beginning, I just kind of was like, is this really going to work? And then I was like, oh, it's going to work. And then, no. That was a roller coaster. But that's what MaNa's pretty good at, is making even, you know, worse games than that. Games that he's really just so funny out of it. He still makes those games look good. This is the winner's bracket, so there is another bracket that they could fall down to. Next map's going to be on Kairos Junction. MaNa, I mean, he's going to be a little more on point about those early attack potentials. He was not... It's not like that attack didn't have potential in general. Even if MaNa had gotten wind of it, even if he had a more solid defensive setup, even without knowing about it, like, I don't think HellraiseR loses... Like, it flips the other way. HellraiseR just straight up loses because the attack doesn't work. But it is one of those things that it's almost like a test, right? It's like the Reaper test in TVT. You both make Reapers, you both make Hellions. Oh no, you miss micro. Oh no, you're dead. When really, in most other games, you miss micro a little bit, you still survive, the game goes on. Things can really go topsy-turvy. I feel like that's what that was almost like. You know, HellraiseR had his Nexus, HellraiseR had the faster upgrade, but the little poke forward was really effective. And his follow-up was especially effective, too. Now, PvP is a mystery when it goes into the weirder sections of, like, Stargate versus Stargate, but it's really cool when it doesn't. In the bottom right, down 1, it is the red Protoss MaNa. And top left, as the blue Protoss, it is HellraiseR. Yeah. Yeah, if HellraiseR's poke at the beginning of the game didn't work, I guess MaNa was up like 4 probes, 6 probes, whatever. Those oracles were always around. Could have gotten more damage if he was able to focus more attention on them, perhaps. Something like that. Use a second oracle immediately instead of having to defend like he did. I mean, it's not like a freebie move from HellraiseR what he did there, but what seemed like almost an innocent poke forward that was technically seen, by the way. MaNa technically saw the Stalkers move past his own Stalker's vision. Ended up doing... well... I want to say more than expected, and probably it was more than expected, but it ended up doing the best it possibly could. I don't think you asked for very much more other than the Nexus snipe with a build like that, with a proxy like that. But yeah, that was nice. Really, the follow-up having that upgrade lead was maybe a surprise for MaNa when he's clicking on the units, but it worked out really well when they both ended up going stalker to stalker. So we have a bit of a flip here. MaNa goes for a hidden pylon. It's not really in proxy. Has his probe hidden though in proxy. Stargate for HellraiseR. MaNa just pumping out stalkers right now. We'll see if he adds on a third gateway. Or maybe does what HellraiseR did and add on a forge. It's actually very important what he adds on here for his third structure. Sentry follow-up. So maybe just a scout for an oracle? The probe literally just walks on in and sees the Stargate. Really nicely done there. HellraiseR has his own probe off to the side. No, I guess MaNa is just opening up a Stalkers with a Sentry, Hallucinated Phoenix, and goes for the Nexus. So standard macro here. I don't know what this pylon was put down for, but it was done very quickly. That was like the second pylon. Probe was found out, but it already did its job and then some. Even gets a block on the Nexus nicely. Nice little move there. Adepts try and come forward, but are blocked from entering the main base, so they lose their lives in the natural. MaNa so far with a much cleaner start to the game. It's also a very different start to the game, because HellraiseR's not going for a push. He didn't go for his own proxy pylon. He's going for an oracle, which is headed towards the main base. MaNa, with that timing in his brain, deeply ingrained into his brain, is going to have stalkers in position to deal with both the oracle and the adept. If there are two adepts and they were shading in perfectly, like they literally, the shade ended in the mineral line, then it's a little complicated. It's maybe even like 4 or 5 probes lost because there's not enough stalkers to target everything down. But with how it all went down, how many units were left over there, this is working out really well for MaNa. No worker lead quite yet, but his natural Nexus is done. There we go. So he should get a little bit of a boost. His Hallucinated Phoenix, we'll see the follow-up is a Robo. No more production on the Stargate. Still gonna go in a blink, though. Okay. Huh. Well, that's odd. I am no PvP master, but I cast enough stuff that I kind of get the gist of where things are going. But I don't usually... I mean, the blink was already a bit of a surprise to me, but okay, some people, you know, just like open up blink. Alright, fine. That's good. It's a fine opener, not just an anti-Phoenix tool, right? But the Stargate, like MaNa's own Stargate, that kind of weirds me out. He did get the scout with his Hallucinated Phoenix that there's no more production on HellraiseR's Stargate. So he will be able to make Phoenix and dominate the skies if HellraiseR wants to play into the Phoenix Wars as well, or finds it necessary to do so. He will start from way behind despite having the faster Stargate. This feels like, you know, 400 IQ plays, but what do I know? Twilight Council on what is inevitably going to be a Dark Shrine is on the way, and that's worrisome because... Okay, MaNa is going to throw that Robo. He's so non-detection right now. There's no Robo. The Stargate could produce an Oracle, but I thought it was going to produce something but Phoenix. I was wrong. It's not producing anything right now. It's a single... Did he build anything from that? He built a single Phoenix. Just to take care of the Oracle? What? Okay. But he is building a Robo, so he'll have the means of getting detection. Nice blink there. Triggers the stasis trap. There is another one, however, and he's got to be careful. There's also a lot of shield batteries as HellraiseR saw the army moving across the map with a couple of units. Forgot to mention, but he knew this was on the way. He was already preparing for it. And it seems like just... I mean, the Immortal might be dying here. Some really nice force fields from MaNa. It still lasted so long that another Immortal pops forward, and a cannon even finishes on the front lines. So... we are going to have to talk more about this Dark Shrine thing. Why this... Is Stargate literally just to defend against the Oracles? That seems so weird to me. I mean, it is 2 Oracles, so a shield battery won't cut it. But I don't know, usually we see most Protoss just say, well, I guess I'll lose probes when they go for an offensive attack with Blink against Oracles. Alright, well, we're all learning here, I guess. The Dark Shrine could be brutal. MaNa is going to go into more Phoenix, and I don't think they've been scouted out. Well, no, wait, the Phoenix showed itself... Hold on here. No, the Phoenix didn't see anything. And HellraiseR did not see the Stargate either. Good lord, what is happening in this game? The Oracle is still not going to see the Stargate. And I would have thought that it was in MaNa's best interest to hide the Phoenix until he had 5, so he could both kill the Oracles and then get a decent counter, like run by, almost, right? Of Phoenix, but no, he stops at 2 again. Ugh! I don't understand. This is not normal. Charge is on the way, +2 is on the way, and those are normal. This is back to just, you know, this is easy peasy. But what the hell? Also, what the... Maybe there's a stasis trap expiring. The DTs have not shown themselves, but they go in as MaNa runs away. That wasn't... Because HellraiseR saw that it's coincidental timing. Really, really coincidental and really in favor of HellraiseR. Oh, MaNa saw the shimmer. Yep, he saw the shimmer. Nice. Nice eyes right there. So he gets a block on the high ground, which he was already blocking? It's a very almost done pylon. Oh, there you go. It is done. The pylon being so healthy was a surprise. What did he see? I guess he saw... He did get into the main base and saw no Twilight Council. Was that enough to to tip him off to a hidden one? Because what if he just didn't scout like this one corner a second or third time? And that's what Twilight Council was. Oh, well, the pylon is all well and good. He also saw the shimmer and he had the observer, and this was easy peasy cleaned up. Or was the observer there? Oh, the observer was there! Oh. Never mind. Much easier to see the DTs when there's an observer right there. Not gonna bring an observer out of the front lines, so defensive DTs could be a problem. Something that HellraiseR might notice, because this observer is with his army. An Archon has been formed. It can break the force field, but it misses the second break. Hello, excuse me, pardon me. Hello. Let me through. Okay, well. The Immortal Micro is going to cut it anyways, and HellraiseR was a little more focused on making sure that lived, not letting his Archon through. DTs, nope, those are Oracles, and those are Stalkers being worked in. Oracles don't do anything, and that's too bad. 2 Oracles could have killed all the probes here before the warp in finished, but he was, again, focusing on the Immortal Micro. +3's on the way. Still quite a ways faster than MaNa's +2. And the Twilight Council / Dark Shrine, while juicy targets eventually take out, are not really within MaNa's ability right now. He has most of his army on the offensive, and he doesn't even know where the structures are, so it looks like he's not going to try and take time to find them either. Third Nexus was killed / canceled? Canceled for HellraiseR. He recalls his army, as that was a large chunk of Stalkers to be left out of the equation. We also have an attack from HellraiseR here. It's not with a +3, but it still has an upgrade advantage. The Phoenix are useful. They lift up Immortals. Hell, that's something, right? We also have an Archon advantage for HellraiseR, but a lot more Stalkers, I believe, for MaNa. Defense advantage maybe also kicking in. It's definitely MaNa's favor for the army supply, and HellraiseR is going to get pushed back. He has his Warp Prism. He's still going to commit to the attack, maybe thinking he has a chance here. It's 4 Immortals against 3 Immortals plus what is mostly actually all Stalkers, so maybe things will turn here. MaNa's going to pull the probes to make sure that he wins. He's going to bring his Warp Prism forward to help Micro again, but it looks like with that blink forward on top of HellraiseR's Warp Prism, he'll lose the Stalkers for it. He will be able to demolish the army. It was closer than expected, but MaNa does end up with the victory as +2 finish towards the end of that fight, and HellraiseR, well, the supplies don't look so bad. He's even up 3 workers. Doesn't have a third Nexus, so he is almost for sure out of the game, but he's got another all-in in him. He's going to go for another Warp Prism. He's still going to have that +3 attack over the +2, and he can still make a decent number of units. It's just that MaNa is really not that far behind economically, so, you know, it's one of those like, well, maybe it'll be close, but MaNa could even lose this space if he really needed to give something up and probably still be all right. He's gonna go for some Immortal drops, take out a pretty important pylon. Powering 2 gateways. The Forge was already done researching, unfortunately. But the Robo could be a nice skill. DT's gonna help clean things up. 5 probes also go down. More here. Soon enough, MaNa will be like, where the hell's your army? And realize he needs to go back on the defensive. For instance, he doesn't have these turned into Archons quite yet. There we go. But he should be good. He's up 20 army supply. He's got a cannon to help out. Or maybe, you know, provide detection should the game plan here of HellraiseR be to snipe the observer. And he just taps out. There you go. GG. So MaNa takes game number 2 to tie things up. I am still weirded out by the Stargate Phoenix thing. Even though they did help take out the oracles, I don't think they were the key. I don't think they were actually useful. But yeah, they also took 2 immortals out of the battle for 5 seconds. It was kind of an early Stargate. You know, if he was on 3 bases fully saturated and he adds a Stargate, like, you know, what do I care, I suppose, but... Yeah, it was weird. I thought for sure it was going to be, like, a hidden tech swap. Get 5, maybe 8 Phoenix and kill the oracles and go, aha, you don't have Blink because you didn't bother getting it. Gotcha. No, that's not how it went down. Let me click on this cat link here. It's very important. Oh, that's a foofy cat. Ah, that's a cat that has to be groomed. My family used to have part Persians. They were half Persian. You didn't get to see them very often, but they both have passed away. They lived to the ripe old age of 20, though. One was 19, one was 20. That's a long life for a cat. One of them was even outdoors. But unfortunately, as soon as they got old, like, and by old I mean more like 14 years old, they stopped taking care of their very full coats, and they started getting really matted. You think Apollo sheds a lot until you get a Persian. That's probably 90% of the cat hair that's in this house. And the other 10% is Apollo's, actually. Apollo sheds something crazy. I don't know why, though. Bobtails can come in both short and long-haired. And it feels like he got, like, a cross of both. Because if you really look at his fur, most of it's short, but then he has, like, the occasional long hair that sticks out. And he just sheds all the time. I don't know. Doesn't seem like their other cats have the same problem. Enough about that, though. It's an ace match in the winner's brackets. I think they're getting close to the qualifying match, too. I'll give a little peek towards that after I introduce the players. On the top right, that's the red Protoss. It is MaNa. On the bottom left, as the blue Protoss, it is HellraiseR. Let's take a little quick peekaroo. Nerchio having a stronger bracket today. Don't know what happened yesterday. Maybe he was off. Maybe it was unfortunate counter build, something like that. But he beats the Maga, which is expected. But again, yesterday was kind of weird. He's going to face a Protoss for sure. Either Drogo or Shadone. You know what? This is a qualifying match. Good thing I checked. So Rainer versus Blue Cheese is a qualifying match. Nerchio versus a Protoss qualifying. Ziggy versus either Adriano or Holy Hits. And MaNa versus HellraiseR all tied up. Whoever wins this qualifies. No longer has to worry about it. They can relax, laugh at everyone in the loser's bracket, and then have Sunday all to themselves. If they want. So it's not the most that's ever been on the line, but it is a nice thing to have already done and over with. And you do also, once you're officially in, you do make some cash as well. You know, not just a chance to get some cash, but you actually do get cash. Cash money. So you want it. You want it bad. So MaNa's going to go for Stargate after the Stalker Sentry opening here. HellraiseR goes for his own Stalker Sentry opener, but haha, not goes into Stargate, rather goes into a Robo. We'll see how this plays out. They both have flip-flopped, so who went for a Stargate and who didn't. The Stalker moves out. Where's the Sentry? A lot of the time, the Sentries even move out with this. They want to get the Lucent Phoenix over to their opponent's side of the map as quick as possible. There we go. Both of them getting that Phoenix. And MaNa's not really in place to deny it, I don't think. Nope, not anymore. He wants to, though. He really does. And Lucent Phoenix don't take a lot of damage to deny. Oh, lordy. Nice, he's it. MaNa tried. He was trying to get into a clever position. I'm sure HellraiseR also would have loved to deny it, but he did not. He did not. So it's a little more, honestly. Actually, you know, I'll take that back. I was gonna say it's a little more on HellraiseR to not be scouted because he's going for 3 gateways and a warp prism. But in the same, because he's doing that, he really did need to know what MaNa was doing. If MaNa was going on still on 1 base, for instance, maybe he reconsiders his approach. But because it is going to be about that natural base, then he's going to have to actually break it first and foremost. And he's hoping to find MaNa without the defenses set up yet. Unfortunately, because of MaNa's scout, that's not going to be the case. He even builds kind of a safety shield battery that would have, if HellraiseR were, for instance, to blitz on top of him with whatever units he did have, he'd have that already done, not potentially canceled. So this looks like a very safe setup. Starting things off strong by getting a couple of Stalkers that are being warped in. There's a save on that one. There's another save on the Sentry. MaNa Sentry's already been popped off, but it used its Force Field anyway. He gets a Voider to help him out instead of an Oracle. Oh, no, there's an Oracle. Oh, my God. Oh. Oh, that's so good. That's so much mining lost. Good lord. Shield Battery's gonna help with the Void Ray, too. It's adding a ton of damage to the Stalkers. It would love to go for the Warp Prism, but its range isn't that good. It's not a campaign Void Ray.